Hey good people, and welcome back to the channel. In a few moments, I'll be sharing my thoughts and feelings on episodes 3 and 4 of Season 15, Naked and Afraid. And for this review, I'll address specific things in this episode, such as the location for the challenge, my thoughts on the Survivalists for the challenge, and how I felt that the Survivalists did as a team. I'll also cap off the review by giving an overall rating for the episode. But before we go any further, if you're new to the channel and you appreciate the content, then feel free to hit that subscribe button. Subscribing goes a long way in helping my platform grow. So without any further delay, let's jump right in. So the location for this challenge is in Guyana, South America. And as usual, the announcer did one heck of a job at hyping up the dangers for the location. They were mentioning how cannibals used to live there and how the area houses some of the most dangerous and largest predators in the world. Now, if you've been watching Naked and Afraid as long as I have, then you know that the show wouldn't let anything bad happen to the Survivalists. So I thought the overall hyping of the dangers was pretty funny. But the jungles of Guyana are vastly different from the deserts of New Mexico, which makes me question, which environment would I want to be in if I were on the show? I'll say that if I had a choice between which environment I did the challenge in, I would definitely choose the jungle over the desert any day. In my opinion, the only real issue with the tropical weather is the difficulty maintaining a fire. And if I knew that I was going to be in the jungle, I would bring a large waterproof bag with me as one of my survival items. The bag would be used to keep firewood dry whenever it rained, and I would also try to build a makeshift oven for the fire so that the chances of the rain killing the fire would diminish greatly. Before this episode, we have Justin and Cammy as our participating survivalist. Justin is a full-time MMA fighter who used to be a Marine. So right off the bat, we have a survivalist who is battle-tested both mentally and physically, but Justin also admitted to being stubborn, and for those of us who've watched Naked and Afraid, know that having a stubborn survivalist on the show could make or break the challenge. Now Cammy is a paramedic who is also an experienced hunter, so on paper, she seems like somebody who could reel in a personality like Justin. And in my opinion, there's really no reason outside of illness or injury that these two shouldn't have made it to the end of the challenge. However, everything that could go wrong did go wrong for these two. Now when Justin and Cammy first met, they seemed to have very good chemistry, and they seemed to have all the tools needed to complement each other's strengths and weaknesses. But on the way to finding shelter, I noticed that Justin was walking far ahead of Cammy. Now as a guy, I know how walking ahead of a woman instead of with her can make some women feel, especially if there's some looming threat nearby. I think Cammy felt some sort of way when Justin was walking ahead of her, and because she knows that Justin can be stubborn, she chose to hold her feelings in instead of speaking her mind for fear of how Justin would react. But Justin and Cammy make it to the shelter, and me being a rookie survivalist, immediately questioned why they would build their shelter right by the water source in the tropical jungle. But Justin was dead set on building the shelter there, and Cammy went along to get along. And from here on out, the issues between Justin and Cammy only got worse. Here we have Justin, who is as tough as nails, pretty much carrying the challenge on his back. And then we have Cammy, who had a lot of useful skills that she could have brought to the challenge, but she allowed the hardships of the challenge, as well as the fear of dragging Justin down, to influence her decision to tap out. And if I'm speaking bluntly, then I have to say that Justin and Cammy should not have been matched for the challenge. They have clashing personalities, and Justin's biggest individual strength also seemed to be his biggest weakness in the team challenge setting. Now it's no surprise that this challenge was pretty difficult, but Cammy desperately needed a teammate that could motivate her to push through the difficulties, and Justin gave Cammy nothing but tough love that then transitioned to nothing but being tough. And don't get me wrong, I don't blame Justin for feeling the way that he did. After all, he really doesn't know Cammy all that well at this point, and it could definitely feel like a drag when you're doing all the work in a team setting and the other person is seemingly freeloading. But in a challenge like this, I think the true winners are the teams that can build one another up and finish together. So while Justin ultimately finished the challenge by himself, I do think that his determination to complete the challenge by any means necessary is what doomed his partnership with Cammy. And I do believe that if Cammy had a more motivational partner, then she would have completed the challenge. But overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give this episode a solid 7. I think in comparison to last week's episode, this episode seemed a bit more realistic to what you would typically see on Naked and Afraid. And sadly, survivalists from past seasons of the show have tapped out of challenges for far less pressing reasons than Cammy did for this challenge. So while I was a little disappointed that Cammy tapped out, I was proud that she made it as far as she did. And when it comes to Justin, I think that he could possibly do great in an XL challenge as long as the people that he's paired with can complement his personality. But this marks the end of my review. Feel free to leave all comments below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to reply to everybody. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.